going? Everything all good?
Good. Yeah, it's busy. It's good. Got my steps in. Had a call with a client, getting some admin shit plugged away. Yeah, we're looking good. How about you?
Nice, man. Pretty solid day. Did a little bit of training, went to the gym at like 7 this morning, and then other than that, just been chilling out, dude. I took a little nap, I did a little stretching,
Hell yeah. Sounds
just
like a good
chilling
day,
out,
bro.
dude.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
good day.
Yeah, I like having a kind of a low key. It's been a while since I had a low key weekend just chilling out.
Yeah.
I've been kind of just go 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 recently, but that's
Nice.
how the summer is for me.
It should be, man. That's good. I forget. Remind me, what do you do, man?
I'm a carpenter by trade, but I do home
Okay.
renovations and restoration work, so
Fuck yeah. That's cool.
do whatever people will pay me to do, man. That's
Nice.
how it goes.
Whatever people will pay you to
Yeah, why not?
do.
Fuck it. 100%, dude. That's pretty much it, man. How about dude, have you been out and about recently? I saw you were out camping recently.
Yeah, yeah. My wife and I went to Oregon. So we normally do an annual trip to Oregon. This is like dating back to when I was a little kid. My dad had his high school years there. So that's where all his buddies are from. And then he moved to Canada, my mom, and that's history. We've always gone back, like as a family, when my parents were together and when we were little kids, like we would go hang out on the Oregon coast, where my dad's best friend has moved to, and we would hang out there. And it's like kind of roughing it. It's like he's got this old cabin. We'd hang out there and shoot guns and just like have a awesome time. And since I got older and moved out of the house, I remember messaging my dad's high school buddy after I had moved out, and I was like, "Hey, is it cool? Like if I come down?" He's like, "Yeah." "Is your dad coming?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, that's cool." And so I've just made it my own thing too. And my dad still goes down there too. And like, whatever, we just have like different timelines and lifestyles. And like, I bring my wife now and stuff. I propose to her out there on the coast. So it's kind of like our annual trip to go down.
Dude, that's unreal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a
Unreal.
good time.
And are you back on the West Coast now?
Yeah. Yeah. So we were in Florida for a couple months, like hanging out with family and like getting some stuff organized for our eventual move to the States permanently. That's going to be like a longer timeline than we anticipated, but that's just like the immigration right now is challenging. So it's going to take maybe till 2027. And so we spent a couple months in Florida hanging out. And right when it got too hot, like beginning of May, we came back home and we've been back in our condo. We were doing Airbnb here for like a year, but we decided to just like move back in here, got like the little studio, spaced it up in the second bedroom. And now we're just in grind mode and yeah, back in Abbotsford, man.
That's sweet, dude. Oh, we could have
Yeah.
done this in person. We should do one in person pretty soon, dude.
All right. Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works.
we gotta get you out here. I'm over in Richmond, dude, so it is a bit of a
Yeah.
trek, but
I remember you saying Richmond, or I don't remember exactly where, but I know that it was like west of here, and like anything west of Langley in my mind is Vancouver. So that's like how, yeah, I knew you were like in that space somewhere.
yeah, I feel the exact same way. Anything east of Surrey, it's like, oh, that's the valley. I never
Yeah,
go out there.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
never go
exactly.
out there.
I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm never going out like past. I don't have any reason to go west except for, yeah, I got like a couple buddies who have moved out that way, but even so, like their families and shit are back here, so they'll come hang out this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. That's too funny. And my sister's the same dude. She just moved out there, but dude, what's been going on? How has it been kind of I guess doing a lot of your business is online, right? So most of it is you don't do too
100%
much.
online. Yeah, 100%. It's been fully online since like end of 2023. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
eh,
December, I quit anything in person.
that's kind of smart if you want to be mobile for sure.
Hmm.
What makes you kind of like feel drawn to move down south? Obviously, I've kind of had similar thoughts to be like I can't be can't lie that way. But like the kind of the barrier to just feels like too much resistance for me.
Yeah.
Was there something that kind of like pushed you to the point where you're like, dude, I'm done. I gotta go. I gotta move somewhere else. Because I know a lot of my buddies have either moved to Alberta or to the States.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't blame them, dude. I've looked into the options as well. And it's just like, I've got my own reasons for wanting to stay. What kind of made you just want to pull the trigger? I guess maybe a little bit more ease or
So like to answer the question about like what was like the like defining moment or whatever you said, it was COVID for sure. And I'm sure that's what most of your buddies' reasons were too.
yeah.
So that was like the defining moment, but like my dad was born in Alabama and so he's from the States. So all I had to do was like prove technically I've always been American, like the way that the government sees it, the US government is that they always will see me as American, but I didn't have like the proof of documentation, so that I wouldn't be honored as an American essentially. So I needed to go through the process of like getting, a bunch of documents of my dad's essentially proving that he, was born and raised in the States. So the cool thing is that my sister did all the trouble for me. So my sister moved to Colorado. I want to say it was like 2018 or something like that. And so she did all the groundwork to get all that shit. She had to contact my grandparents who were split up and get a bunch of affidavits and all this shit written up. And then she got that done, and I kind of procrastinated on it for a while. And then once COVID hit, I was like, yeah, it's kind of fucked here. Like the way the government's responding, in my opinion, that's how it was. So it felt really overbearing and weird. And like, you just don't really know what the trajectory was. There was also like all the just the constant shift in narrative of like what the virus is and how it's working and stuff, and like how people were responding to it, and masks are really good and then masks are really bad, and then if you get the shot you won't spread it, and then people are spreading it, and then people are still dying from it, and then the only people who are dying are like super sick and fat and old. And I was like, okay, well, like none of this makes any sense. And this keeps getting pushed. And I feel like it just the way that everything was presented, it felt like you're a bad person if you don't get it, And it felt like there was this weird division that was happening. So through all of that, that was like gave me the urgency to get it taken care of. My sister mailed over an envelope with all the paperwork. I walked into the office, immigration office or whatever in Vancouver. And like 2 weeks later, I received my passport. So it was super straightforward and easy on my end. And then since then, we've really just been procrastinating more on like getting the process done. But now that we're like getting ready to like buy house number two or whatever, then it's been like, okay, well, we could do it here. But then the other reasons why, there's so many different reasons why we want to move to the States. The trigger was COVID and the government's response. That was weird to me. I didn't like that. Um, but I've wanted to for ever since I was a kid. I was like, oh, it'd be fun. Other reasons why I have absolute mobility now. I live like something that I've wanted to do forever is like to be able to have my own freedom and do what I want when I want, and I have that with my business. So I feel like I would be doing myself a bit of a disservice to not do it. Like I almost like owe it to myself, because like I have the freedom to do it. Plus, I'm a dual citizen, so for me, at the very least, I literally can just walk across the border and like buy a home or rent a home or whatever, and I can just move in there and start doing my own thing, and my business doesn't change. Like it's all online. So it's the hard part is getting my wife over. And then there was that. There was so it's like I owe it to myself, COVID, and then on top of that, just like the different ways that you're able to earn money in how you can like pick where you want to be, and different states offer different benefits. Like some states are tax free, some are like really helpful when it comes to like corporate tax. Cost of living generally is much, much better in the States. So there was a lot of different reasons why. Cost of living was probably another really big one. Like British Columbia is terribly expensive. And we paid for our like two bed, two bath condo. It's like a 2007 build. We paid 375 for it, which at the time it was like a $25,000 discount. And we got it during COVID. So it was just like we got it on a steal. And it's a great building and it's comfortable and all that. Like it's fine. But like 350,000 in the States in a lot of places is a fucking house with a yard and like a nice updated house like that you could grow a family in. So I just think that like I can probably earn a lot more. I can keep a lot more money there too. And the investment opportunities in terms of real estate, which is a long-term goal for us, is like it makes more sense to do it down there. They're a lot more like landlord friendly.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Do
Yeah.
you and are your parents still around?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My dad's in Abbotsford as well. My mom moved to Chilliwack. They split in like uh 20 12 or 2011 or something like that. So it's been they've established their own brand new lives with partners and stuff like that. Everybody's cool. Yeah.
Right, right. But there's no thought for them to go down south at all.
My mom, no, it's just like it doesn't make sense for her. Like she's not American, she's Canadian. Her husband's also Canadian. He has like he's really like politically motivated and he thinks that Elon Musk is like a Nazi and stuff. So he's
Yeah.
like that's kind of his belief and thought process. And my dad is like super like loves Trump, thinks that Trump's amazing and like can't do anything wrong and stuff. My dad's like sending me reels on Facebook of like Trump being this big tough guy when in like international politics with tariffs and all this shit and like, you know, stomping out different countries and like just causing a lot of friction. And I was like, ha ha ha, guess what? If there was a war and they were drafting people, your son, me, I'm gonna go, by the way. I'm like the age category they're looking for. So you think it's great, hilarious. If there is World War III, see you later. I'm gonna get a rifle and have to go to war. Thanks, Dad. So my dad would though. My dad wants to. That's kind of like his long-term plan. He's getting close to retirement. His initial plan is to like sell his place in Abbotsford, move up north with his missus for a couple of years, do a semi-retirement there. Some of his customers moved up there, so it makes sense. And then shortly after that, like he wants to follow me and my wife wherever we go because he wants to be around like close to grandkids and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one of the big motivating factors for me is I my parents would never go. My girl's dual citizen, and so I've always kind of thought about it, but that's kind of the one big thing that kind of keeps me grounded here. It is funny though. It's there's been I met a guy today, literally at the gym I was talking to from Calgary, and I was
Yeah.
like, you realize everyone's doing the opposite exodus, right? Like everyone's leaving here, and
Hmm.
and either going east or south. That's the way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the way. I remember I had a buddy that he used to live. Where was he? He was out. He was in Chilliwack. He was right near the mountain actually,
Yeah.
and he used to work in Vancouver, so he'd have to drive there like almost every
Damn.
day.
Hour and a half each way.
Oh man! And I
Two
remember the
hours with
one
traffic
thing.
at least.
Oh yeah, dude. He would leave at like 5 a.m. to get to a job site at like
Totally.
7:30.
That's
And
brutal.
yeah, and I remember he went off one time where he specifically was like, cup tax. I go through McDonald's and I pay a tax on the cup because and he just went off completely. He's like, dude, I'm sick of this place. It's like
Yeah.
full on. Yeah, it's so funny, dude. There's like kind of a weird, I think, awakening going on with the younger generation, but I definitely think that we are in for quite a few years of friction here. That's for sure. It's gonna
Yeah.
be
Wouldn't
a
be
weird
surprised.
one. It's gonna be a weird one, but I'm happy to see, dude, that you're one of the people that is willing to kind of vote with your feet, vote with your dollars, and just be like, "Yo,
Yeah.
fuck this. I'm kind of tired of it." It
Yeah.
is it is a very complacent uh place, like in terms of like just the human beings walking around. They just kind of absorb the propaganda, and so it's cool
Mhm.
to hear you just be like, "Yeah, I'm done with it. I'm tired of it." I think the
Mhm.
only real way to actually operate in Vancouver is to run a business. I don't think that there's any other way to do it, and
Mhm.
so it's yeah, it's gonna be a weird trip, dude. But I'm happy to see that you're chasing your dreams, dude. That's like the coolest thing. That's the one thing
Appreciate it, man.
where I'm like yeah, it's always funny to see because there's a lot of my friends that complain, and I'm like, well, dude,
Mhm.
like. I'm happy here, so I love it here. I get it.
Mhm.
I thought about those things,
Yeah.
but like I kind of did the pros and cons list, and it's just funny to hear people complain about it and then just do nothing about it
Yeah, exactly. That gets old. That gets old.
real quick, man. That's
Yeah.
uh that's interesting, man. Have you always just kind of made your own decisions that way and just kind of been, I guess, I don't know how else to say it, like kind of risk averse, or no, that's the opposite of risk averse, right? Have you always been that way, or
Yeah.
you ever been like a play it safe kind of guy and had to deal with that?
I I think that it's funny. I don't know. I mean, I've always been a little bit more I forget what the word is. Not contemporary, not controversial, although that's like close to the word I'm looking for. Contrarian is what I'm looking for. I've always been like for the sake of being different, being trying to be different, kind of guy. Like I've always been trying to go against the grain. in my effort of trying to establish my own identity, like even going back to being a little kid, like I've always wanted to be like that. And I try to be a little bit smarter about it now. So I'm not just like going the opposite way just for the sake of it. So I'm doing what makes the most sense for me. And um, I wouldn't do anything that I would find to be risky in the sense that I might, you know, make a move I would regret. But again, it just falls back to I owe it to myself to do things that are, in my eyes, cool or fun or unconventional because I have the freedom and ability to do that. So I should, because like, I don't want to be on my deathbed and have like regrets about the things that I could have done or should have done or risks I could have taken, and like if I do something that may be seen as something like a little more risky, like there's always a balance with those things. So maybe it's like something again viewed as risky by most people, and maybe it objectively is really risky. But if it is really risky, then inherently there's going to be some kind of grand benefit on the other side of it should things go the way that you want. And if you plan in advance and are deliberate and intentional with the moves that you make, I think you set yourself up to be in a strong position to see through those ultimate gains that you're looking to make. So I think that's kind of the approach that I try to take with it. Like, yeah, I'll do something that's maybe seen as more risky, but knowing that like the result of that risk is much greater than the risk itself. In worst case scenario, if I fall flat on my face, I can just pick myself up and restart. When I'm doing things with my business or trying something different with marketing or hiring somebody on in the team or something, like the worst case scenario is that, and this would never happen, but the worst case scenario that could possibly happen is all of my clients quit all at the same time. And then I have to just get new clients again, like that worst. And I have experience as a manager, like for 3.5 years in a gym and stuff. Like I have a solid resume prior to starting my own business. So if for whatever reason I wasn't allowed to be a coach online, I would simply just go get another job and keep paying my bills and my mortgage, and everything would be fine. And it might be a little bit embarrassing or feel a little bit of pain for a short period of time, but like I'm 30 years old. Like I could fucking stop and restart something over and over and over again for the next 3 decades and I still would be okay. So,
That's
yeah.
funny, man. I think of it kind of the exact same way, actually. I'm like, worst case scenario, I'm still a carpenter. I can go get some union job if I really had to just like suck some corporate dick and make some money. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
good.
exactly.
I
If I
could.
needed to.
Yeah,
It's not what I
exactly.
want to do. It's not what I'm planning for. And I'm not going to make any, crazy changes that could genuinely risk that happening. But like, what is the worst case scenario? Worst case scenario, I have to go get a real job. I can still pay my bills and I can, in the background, work on something and build it back up and get it going again.
Yeah, literally, that's the exact same thing I think about all the time. Is like, well, if we ever run out of clients, I could just get a real job for a bit, but I don't think it's happening, man. I don't think
Yeah,
it's happening.
exactly. Yeah.
It's funny too. You said you feel like you owe it to yourself. Have you always thought about it that way, or have you ever been like? Because I've naturally am somebody that cuts corners for myself. I have to like
Mhm.
actually think about it. Oh no, I probably owe it to myself. Like I don't naturally think that way. Do you have to like try and think that way, or does it just come natural for you? You're like, no, I treat myself well because I'm a self-sabotager. I'm a piece of
Yeah.
shit.
Wow.
I'm an idiot. I
Especially
like
if you say it.
well, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, no, but I just naturally that was the tendencies that I had. I had to actually be mindful of it and be like, oh no, this is self-sabotage, and then kind of coach myself out of it. Did you have a similar journey, or did you always just kind of have, I guess, self-respect?
I think less about like a self-respect thing and more about like it probably birthed from having a really big ego,
Hmm.
like my dad played a big role in that because he was one of those dads that like it's like you're a Hinton and a Hinton does things this way,
Hmm.
and this is who we are. I'm like, hell yeah. You know, as a little kid, like your dad's your hero. So of course everything he says is God, really.
Yeah.
And um I think it's probably stemmed from ego and like, oh, I can do anything, really. And like there's nothing holding me back except my own mindset. And maybe less about, again, like it probably evolves from ego into like fear of staying the same. That's probably like the biggest thing. And then eventually into like I owe it to myself to do things that are uncomfortable. And because like I have, again, like I work from home technically and train people online all over the world. And what am I going to do? Literally live in the same fucking city that I was born in, like all my life? Like maybe I'll come back. Maybe I go travel a bunch of different places and realize Abbotsford's the best place in the world. And I just come back. But then at least I've figured that out. Like what a fucking shame. What a waste it would be to not go live somewhere different, you know? Like my wife and I talk about this all the time, like, well, where would we move to? And we talked about Idaho, and that was like the solid, we were like really set on Idaho. We had Pocatello, Idaho. We were looking at real estate. It was like everything checked all the boxes we wanted. And then on a whim, I was like, ooh, Tennessee would actually be a really cool idea. Like Tennessee makes sense. There's a bunch of other states too that like sound great. And I'm sure, you know what? I'm sure they all are in their own way. There's always going to be a pocket somewhere that's really, really cool. So it's like, does it really matter exactly where we pick right away? Because like nothing is guaranteed. We don't have to, wherever we buy next isn't the forever place. It doesn't have to be. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. So there's that. I owe it to myself. I have a bit of an ego. And then probably the biggest thing is just like fear of being exactly where I am in 10 years. Like I don't want to be here still. Not that there's anything wrong with where I'm at right now, but like life is about progressing and moving forward and challenging yourself and doing things that are scary and like making the most of it and not just like getting up, going to work, coming home, watching Netflix, going to bed. Like work, even like throw in workouts and throw in like going on a couple vacations and like all those other things. It's like that's the fucking SOP for life, you know, for most people. And I don't want to do that. I want to fucking run the tires off this bitch, you know? I don't want to, finish this race of life and still have gas in the tank. So,
Right.
yeah, like I need to do it and I don't want to be in the same place. And if doing something different ends up coming with a really high risk, then fuck it, so be it. I'd rather risk it all and fall on my face, at the very least have a learning experience, gain, a little bit more knowledge and then go try again.
That is actually really interesting. I do think that's it's cool to think that everyone I'm trying to think of a way to say it. It is kind of weird how I don't know if you've ever felt like there's kind of like a measurement for success. Like we always kind of think of that way, like, oh, because if you were to ask anybody, I think, when you're on your deathbed, what do you think you're going to regret? I don't know if you've ever thought of that before.
Yeah.
Like, right? It sounds like you have. But I think that so many people now they hear what other people think and they're like, "Oh, I have to do that." Like there's all these people that are like, "Oh, I'm going to go to Thailand. I'm going to go travel. I'm going to go to Botswana or wherever the fuck, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm going to go there, do some volunteer experience." And to them, that's like super fulfilling. I have this like weird autistic part of my brain. I don't know if it's actually autism. It's viral to say that, but I, I just like I don't feel that travel bug like everybody else does.
Mhm.
It just doesn't like satisfy me. For me, I like genuinely just like staying here and growing a business and kind of doing my thing. Like I'm a weird creature of habit that way.
Mhm.
And it is interesting how we feel like I feel like we get so caught up, and I don't know if it's because of social media how we get caught up in that comparison, or we think that there's just like a one size fit all. Like, oh, if I listen to this guy who lives in a van on Instagram, then maybe I'll find as much fulfillment as he found, like
Yeah.
go touring around, going to festivals, eating mushrooms. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like it's like it is a weird hippie trip to just be like, oh, there's no one size fit all.
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah.
cool, and it's cool. It's always interesting for me. That's one of the things that interests me about talking to you, man, because I feel like you found your groove.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I think I have like settled into like what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, which is a really good feeling, I guess you could say.
Hmm.
I definitely do want to get a ton of traveling done. My wife and I want to experience a lot of different things, and that's really exciting. But I have like a very clear vision on what I want for my future. And to the measure of success thing, I think that like comparison is really good and really valuable. And I think that a lot of people, everyone, if you shy away entirely from comparing yourself to other people, then you'll never reach your full potential because you're not seeing what else you possibly could do. And it doesn't mean that you need to do everything else that everybody else is doing, but at the very least, you could measure yourself against what other people are doing and ask yourself honestly, like, am I doing everything that I can to better myself? So it can get really frustrating getting caught up in like trying to compare your sales metrics to other people's. And I think that that's not fair to do to yourself because some people just have their niche dialed in like way more and they communicate better online to their specific audience and stuff like that. But like, I think for me, like measure of success is like one, it, intangible would be like genuinely being happy with who you are and who you're becoming. That's all fluffy bullshit stuff, but I think that there's value in that too. And then I think another one is like, are you objectively growing in whatever metrics you find valuable? And for me, that's like number one would be like in my business. Is my business growing? Is my client roster growing? Is my team making more money? Like I want to earn more because I want to be able to pay my team more. I also want to earn more because I want to retire my parents and buy them houses. And I have the capacity to do that, or I have the ability. I don't have the capacity right now, but I have the ability to. I know that like the limit is really as high as I'm willing to go, which puts a lot of pressure on yourself to execute because you don't really know what the ceiling is. But it also gives you a lot of drive and motivation to be like, I can do more and I can make more. And the beautiful part about it too, and like with my business is that it's like you can't you can't grow this business and be a piece of shit. You have to deliver an incredible service. People have to receive that service, say good things, and that's how you grow. So it's all value based. It's a perfect exchange of value. Like people pay me a reasonable rate and get an amazing result, and they feel really happy and content with themselves, and they feel so excited that they share it with other people, and other people sign up and pay. So like I'm I used to be really scared to say or like shy away from like talking about business with people and stuff like that because I didn't want to seem like somebody who's just out here to make money. But like, obviously, we all are out here to make money. Everybody is, no matter what. And I have zero shame or guilt in like making money the way that I do because I literally help people change their life. It's so fucking rewarding. And if I could do it for free, I would because it's literally so much fun. I'll like sit here 16 hours a day chatting with people and helping them change their life. And it's so cool. And again, like the only way that I grow is if people are getting really good service and getting really good results. So like if I like bragging even to my clients like about how well we're doing because I know that it's only because they're getting results and they know that too. Anybody who has like their head on straight isn't going to like get look at what I say about my success, which isn't anything fucking crazy by the way. Like in my view compared to like what's possible, I feel like I'm literally so infantile in what I'm doing. But um yeah, like anybody who would like be like this guy's so full like just wants money or whatever. I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but the only way it works is if other people are getting an incredible result because eventually that shit dies. Like you can't bullshit your way to making millions of dollars, Like you can do it for a little bit, but eventually it starts crumbling down because people have bad things to say. You're not a good coach. You don't deliver on your promises and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think the exact same thing, dude. I think it's impossible to cheat either way. Like there's no way to I mean you could rob people blind, but like you said, it's kind of short term. But
Yeah.
it is funny how many years do you think you were training before you started your own business?
Like
Like
working,
training other people.
um, like very sporadically. I did it actually looking back on it. I did it for like, I think the first client I took online was in 2017. And then I didn't start my business until 2022. But I didn't like have a real, like, I wasn't really coaching people. I'd literally like get their email addresses and send them workout plans and meal plans. And so it was just like the most random shit. And it would be like one person every couple months, or maybe I'd have like two people. There was no check-in process, there was no app, there was no like real structure to the programs I was building. It was like at the very least, it was like keeping people accountable. They had something they could follow, and they felt like they had a plan. And so I was coaching people kind of from back then, and I was literally charging like $50 a month or something. It was ridiculous. Like it was just something that people could follow.
Get your foot in the
Um,
door, man.
yeah, and just getting some experience. And at the very, like, I even have a transformation on my website of like one of my buddies. He was like the first person I coached, and I shared like his transformation. I totally forgot that I had this post, but I made a transformation photo, and back in like 2017 or 2018 or 2016 maybe, I don't know, of a buddy that I coached online. And then following that, it was like hiking and workouts and just like me doing my shit, but never like building my business, trying to get clients or anything like that. 2022 is when I legit started doing this.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the only reason I bring that up or ask is because I feel like so many people around our age is just are a lot of people just kind of want to supervise or be the boss. They don't
Hmm.
want to, and there's this kind of like glorification or misconception of like what being a boss actually is, or what
Hmm.
running a business, I guess, is a better way to say it.
Yeah.
Because you just basically, at least from my experience, like you get kicked in the dick a lot, and
Hmm.
like just through red tape regulations and just through work, like it's tough work, and it is funny to see people just kind of think right off the bat that they could just like kind of start doing something and then they'd be
Hmm.
like, oh, I'll be successful at it, or and it's every single like successful, whether you think I kind of have a similar I guess metric for success that it sounds like you do as well. It's like if you're
Hmm.
running a business, you're most likely trying to make money. And
Yeah.
so like the successful would be the people making money. And so like the people that I know that are financially successful and well off, it's like they just chose one thing and then fucking mastered it.
Hmm.
And it's like anytime you talk to somebody that starts a business, that's one of the things I always like to ask people is like, how long were you in that industry before you started your own business? Like it's
Yeah.
because it's always the guys that are like, oh yeah, I was doing this for like 5, 10 years before I even tried to do it myself. Like
Hmm.
I wanted to make my mistakes on someone else's dime. That was pretty much how it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. And I mean, like, honestly, like, I fall back on my experience, my personal experience when it comes to coaching. And, like, of course, everybody's different, and people have different goals. They start at different points. And, like, I've had to learn a lot through coaching people, like, how to approach coaching different personality types. And now the cool part is that I'm at a point now where it's like there's some people that I'll be chatting with, and I recognize pretty early on. I'm like, hey, well, this person's just not a good fit, or maybe they're a good fit, but they're not ready yet. Like they're asking the wrong questions, or they want they're answering the questions I ask not the way that I would hope for them to. Like I have kind of a red flag and green flag checklist of people that I'm looking to help, and but before I get down that rabbit hole, like my I don't fall back on my fucking personal training certification. It's such bullshit. It sucks. Like I literally ripped through that as quickly as I could. I didn't study for it. I just went through the courses. I had to do a bunch of quizzes, and then there was a final exam. For the final exam, like there was a lot of terminology stuff that I didn't know that I had to just like write down and remember. Um, and a lot of science-based shit that you never need to fucking use ever. Um, I know how to eat properly. I know what foods work well for people. I know how to build a program based on where somebody is at with their fitness journey and what their goals are. The hardest part was because like anybody who's like fit and has been working out and eating properly for a while could be like, oh yeah, like I can get you fit. But the big part of what this is like human behavior. Like that's what this is all about. Because anybody can like programs are free and meal plans are free. Like you can go to ChatGPT and you can get a very specific tailored plan. But the thing that people are missing from that, and the reason why people pay me versus just getting a meal plan and a workout plan online, is simply because they need accountability and they need behavior change. And they don't know that typically until they start. There's, if all the people who not just needed my help, but wanted my help actually started, they would recognize that. My client roster would be like 4 times the size it is. But a lot of people just think that this is like, oh, I need to lose 20 pounds. Just tell me how to lose the 20 pounds. Hey, motherfucker, if you knew what to do, you would just do it. And if you could just do the thing that you're supposed to do, you would just do it. But you don't, and you're stuck because it's behavior. It's what time are you getting up? And what are you doing in the morning? And how long do you scroll when you take a shit? And what kind of decisions are you making when you go out for food? What time are you going to bed? Like all these things, these little tiny micro decisions that you make on a daily basis play a role in your ability to lose weight, and or to build muscle, whatever your thing is. So it's
Literally to do
really like
anything, like literally anything.
yeah, it's human behavior is what the coaching aspect is. That's what people need the coaching for.
Yeah, yeah. And in your own personal life, like how much do you think you measure those metrics? Are you the type of guy that has like the watch and you track your sleep and you track your quality and your quantity of sleep and do you measure everything? Or are you kind of like that? Or
I
you
I technically do. I mean, I have a Whoop, but
okay.
I lost the charger like 2 weeks ago, and it's somewhere here. I fucking don't know. After it was after the Oregon trip, so it's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Um, but I have those tools. I really don't use them. I'm not gonna re-sign up for my annual $300 a year Whoop membership. What the fuck? I bought the device for $300. Why do I need to pay an annual membership to see my metrics?
Right,
It's
right.
kind of silly. I use an Apple Watch to track my steps, but other than that, like I don't get super analytical with things. I keep things really foundational. It's really fundamental. Like
Yeah.
it's hard to argue this is like my ego, but it's true. It's hard to argue with the points that I make around health and fitness because they're so fundamental. Like people can get really down the rabbit hole with like intermittent fasting, cardio before weights, avoid these foods, all these different little niched things, supplements and stuff. And some of those things can help, but I don't give a fuck about all the extra little niche things. It's calories in and calories out, move your body and exert yourself. If you do those things, and then other points of emphasis are like get your steps in, get quality sleep, and then overall be consistent. Like if you are consistent with your food, you're consistent with your activity, including workouts and steps, you're consistent with your sleep, you're consistent with your water, that's perfect. That's the blueprint, everybody. Like if you're just looking for a coach, if you're just looking for like what's the blueprint for how to get fit, that's the blueprint. And then the coaching is how specific can you be with your current lifestyle? And are you willing to say no to these things? No? Okay. Then I, as your coach, am going to help us move in another direction or turn a different dial that you are willing to make a change on. Like maybe you're unwilling to not have drinks on the weekend with your buddies. Okay. Then we got to turn a dial that you are willing to move a little bit, you know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I guess more what I'm trying to say is I guess no, and that is I like that, dude, because I that is kind of hitting closer to what I was trying to ask is in your life, like how do you find that? And again, I was trying to avoid using this word, but like to find balance because that
mhm.
sounds woo woo and fluffy to me. But I've been in so many different like, dude, I'm one of those guys where like I did 75 hard multiple times. I can dial in and just be like, look, I'm not gonna even bring my phone in the bedroom. I'm like one of those guys, I'm a no screens in the bedroom kind of guy. And I obsess over weird things like that.
Yeah, sure.
Or I'll say like, oh, I'm gonna journal every single morning before I look at a screen. Or
Hmm.
I'll give myself these little weird parameters every now and then.
Yeah.
And then I kind of realize like I think I'm kind of like being a Nazi to myself about these things. And like I need to kind of chill about this or chill about that. And there's always this weird balance between like I need to measure everything so I can improve because if you're not measuring it, you can't improve it.
Hmm.
And then there's this other side of me that's just like kind of I guess more what I would say like my natural personality, which is kind of lazy, kind of gluttonous, kind of like I want to just eat my sweets. I want to just chill out. I want to play video games. And there's just like constant battle between the two. Have you felt like that? Or are you kind of somebody that measures every metric in your own personal life? Or do you just
Hmm.
kind of fluctuate a lot? How does that fit in for you?
I know exactly what you mean because I've like felt like that before, and I've gone through different phases where I have like a super dialed in routine that I'm like non-negotiable on. Like I used to be up at 4 a.m. every single day. I had like a 2 hour morning routine, and it would start with like 5 minutes of meditation. And then I'd read, for 30 minutes. I would journal one page, clean the kitchen, go for a walk, and then my day starts. And I just found it. So there was like, okay, then you feel really good because like in your head, you're like, oh, I've made this checklist of things that make me successful or that are going to lead to success. And when you nail that checklist, you feel better about yourself. And like that was cool for a while. But then the reason why those things inevitably always fell through was typically because like something would hit the fan with work where like work would pick up like crazy. Like maybe I just brought on a new team member that I have to train up, or maybe I've committed myself to now posting twice a day instead of once a day, which is like a big shift for me. I didn't know how I was going to be able to manage posting twice a day every day. Weekdays, weekends, I post once a day, but so there was like some things like that, or maybe I brought on like 5 clients in 1 week and I didn't have systems in place to make it more automatic to get them started up. So I was like, oh, well, something has to give. And that ended up being that like super dialed in morning routine all the time. And then you hear guys like Alex Hormozy who are like, I just work all day long and I just like have nicotine in my gum and I have caffeine and I sit in the dark office and I just work. And he gets up, he works, and he goes to bed. And he's like, and I'm content and happy with that. And the more time you put into your business, the more money you're going to make, the further you're going to get along. And I was like, okay, well, this guy's like extremely successful. And like, I look to his podcast and his content and stuff for inspiration and value and like where I should go with things and stuff, like what direction I should take my business. And then you have other people who say the opposite, like Andrew Huberman, who's like all these dialed in systems, everything has to be perfect and stuff. So I've dealt with that same conflict that you're talking about. And then of course, just like the natural proclivity to want to just like chill the fuck out. It's like I put in so much work all the time. Can I not just like smoke a joint at the end of the night? Can I not just like sit down and play some video games and chill? Can I not just like stay up late or just doom scroll and watch some dumb shit? Like I want naturally you want to do those things too. And then you're like, oh, now I'm being a fucking fat piece of shit. I'm like, now I'm falling into the suck of like the average person. I got to break that cycle. So you get like in this back and forth thing. And what I found is that like I don't have this morning routine anymore. My morning routine is getting up, making my coffee, cleaning the kitchen. It's important that I live in a clean house. So I always do the dishes, wipe the counters, I do the kitchen in the morning. It makes me feel good. And then I go sit down and I start working at like 6 a.m. and I'll work until like 6 or 7 at night. And of course, like I have to fucking have food and maybe I have to get groceries. I'm obviously going to go to the gym. So there's like little intermittent breaks, but like my day is revolved around how I can move my business forward. Um, and I don't obsess over the details anymore. And I feel better about it because I'm not inevitably missing a lot of the details because the details don't exist anymore. It's just like, what are the big rocks that I have to move? There's a million different things that I could do with my business today. And if I think about all of those things, I get really overwhelmed. But if I just focus on one specific thing and promise myself that today I'm going to tackle this project and get this project done by the end of the day, then I can rest my head at night knowing that I put work in that's going to move me forward. And I don't have to worry about the fucking like getting this part done, getting this part done, doing the morning routine, standing on my head, breathing backwards, whatever the fuck,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? I'm just like, I get up, I get my work done. The measurable things that I focus on are aside from like business metric stuff, because that's irrelevant in the terms of this conversation, but like the important things that I focus on are, did I move my body today with intention? Am I eating quality foods? And am I sticking, bro, is there anything else right now? Moving my body with intention that includes either weight training or today was like a weighted walk. I got my 10,000 steps by like 2 p.m. today. Cool. Um, Tracking my food, hitting my protein, eating quality stuff. Like that's like cool. I'm living a fruitful life, a good life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've kind of come to the same conclusion, man. I feel the exact same way because I've gone through like the 2 hour morning routine exact
Hmm.
same way that you talked about.
Yeah.
And it is there is an aspect of it where I felt like it was necessary for where I was at. Like I said, I naturally am just a glutton. I
Mhm.
as a kid, you would a completely different person. I'm
Mhm.
lazy. I have that kind of sloth-like aspect to myself. And I needed to have something where I was like a little bit militant for a couple years of, get the 4 a.m. workout in and do the journaling and my 10 pages of reading and kind of daily affirmations and think about
Yeah,
these things.
yeah.
Dude, I had to do it because it was like a tool for me. Like I was like,
Hmm.
I am broken and I need to fix this a bit.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where it became kind of like just like an ego stroke. You're like, okay, I'm
Hmm.
just fluffing myself up a little bit before I go out in the world. That's really what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that is what it is, right? Like you're
Yeah.
just trying to basically feel good for the day.
Yep.
Like if I could just do something that makes me feel good. And then that's all I really needed to realize. It's like, oh, I just need to do something to prime my brain a bit. So it's like, oh, I could just do a 45-minute workout. This 2 hour routine, I don't
Hmm.
really need. I just need
Yeah.
like like turn the coffee machine on, feed the cat. I same kind of routine as you, like go into the kitchen and then I just like I got a bike in my living room. I'm gonna do hit that for 20 minutes and then do like a 45-minute workout.
Nice.
Turns out that's all you need for
Yeah.
me. It was like, oh, I don't need to do all this other, like I can just journal when I feel like, oh, I have a shit ton of stuff on my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like just realizing what the tools were for.
Hmm.
Because I got stuck in that like the self-development zombie phase of just like I'm just doing all these fucking things and not really intentionally. I guess that's the best way you said it, is to like when you said you move intentionally. It's like
Yeah.
I was kind of forgetting about what the intention was. It just became like a checking the boxes, like yeah, like an ego stroke. That's exactly how it felt, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've kind of evolved from the I need to be super dialed in with this routine because I'm a lazy piece of shit into like, oh, I've got, I've built up some solid habits and now I have like my life on track. I am productive now. I don't need this routine the same way that I did when I first started it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
realizing well, and there's aspects of it that I'm still pretty militant about. Like there's,
Mhm.
but yeah, there's just kind of this constant, just like it's a weird feeling of like, should I be dialing in a bit more? Should I be dialing in a little bit more? And I think as
Mhm.
men, like we're always gonna have that,
Mhm.
but it's a weird. How do you ever find yourself asking? I'm sure you have that internal voice as well. How do you differentiate like when you need to listen to that? Because there's always there's going to be the devil and the angel on your shoulder of like you need to work harder, and then there's the other side of it is like you're also a human being, right? You need to love yourself and understand what rest is and all the
Yeah.
fluffy woo woo shit. But how do you delineate or differentiate, I guess, between when to listen to that? Do you deal with that at all? Am I getting a little too abstract here?
No, no, I know exactly what you mean. I've got a whiteboard in my office and I have specific metrics and tasks that I want to complete by the end of the week and the month. So if I complete those things and I also take care of some of the non-negotiable things, like of course checking in with my clients, getting and content done, making more content, um, like if I'm taking care of the non-negotiables and I can add on top of that one of my little tasks that I have to complete, that's the measure of like, okay, I'm doing enough because I can again, like there's a million things going on in my business all the time that I could improve and focus on and dial in on and like you can get there's never ever enough time in the day to try to take care of everything and then go to bed and be like, oh cool, I completed everything. It's like it doesn't exist. So I've learned that over time and my wife has helped me a lot with that too, where like I'll be, I obsess about growth and success and in the success of this business and stuff. So I can be in here all day, all night and not move from this office if I don't make myself do it. But she's helped remind me like, yo, like things are good. Like we are growing. Things are better this month than they were last month and the month before and the month before. Like it's constantly on an upward trajectory. So like things are positive, stop stressing out. And that's what's helped me be like, okay, back to that whole point of tackle one big thing per week, plug that away into my calendar. So my calendar is like extremely valuable to me. It has all my non-negotiables in there, and then it also has call it like quote unquote free time. And that free time is like what needs to get done now to move forward. So in the morning, I have like my routine, right? And then from there, I take my dog for a walk. And then from there, I am posting content online. And then from there, I'll do some client check-ins. And then from there, I'm having my breakfast. And then I'll go to the gym. And then I get back. And at that point, I'll have some calls. Like I do some calls with my clients, like a live Zoom call kind of thing. Um, and then now it's like closer to 4 p.m. and that like 4 to 7 window is like, what can you do now to get better tomorrow kind of window. So I'll just plug that in like day of in the morning when I'm making some content. I'll plug in like a task or an event in my Google Calendar for 2 hours, block my calendar off, and like I'm focusing on that one thing. And then I'll put little details inside. So the event is called work on this project. And then within that event, the description has like bullet points of things that I need to tackle. And I'll make sure that I bang that out by the end of the day. So if as long as I can like, pick away at that task, then by 7 p.m., when it's time to have dinner and wind down for the night, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not a piece of shit. I move forward. I didn't just do the basics. I took care of things to help the business move forward or something like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. I feel you, man. It is definitely like I kind of am wired the exact same way. I like to have a clean sink, and
Yeah.
and what I mean by that, well, obviously, literally, I like to have a clean sink.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of things in life that I had to realize are like dirty dishes. Like in the sense that like they never end. You know, like I
Mhm.
just go and empty my sink right now, but I'm sitting here with I got a little cup of water, a cup of tea or whatever. Like there's always gonna be more. There's always gonna be more.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I have to remind myself all the time of like um not just like the go to bed at night kind of thing of like, okay, you've done enough for today, just put it away
Mhm.
and chill. Like go to bed, you need some sleep kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's just like this, there's this constant everything needs to be finished. Everything like I can't put things down mid. And again, it's being in construction is actually like kind of helped me like realize that in the physical world of
Mm.
like you can't finish a project in one day, dude.
Of course. Yeah.
Like it's not going to happen. So you have to just kind of like, okay, what am I going to do this week? And then what does that mean I have to do today?
Yeah.
And then and break it down the exact same way. And it's interesting you said kind of basically the same thing, but in a different way.
Hmm.
In that of like it is just it's a never-ending process. Like you're never going to talk to every single customer. You're never going to talk to, because then there's all the potential customers.
Yep.
Like so it's
Yeah.
like what do you like it's a never-ending list. And so do you have are you somebody that has like a goal in mind of like this is going to be an annual income, this is what like my have you written out those kind of things, or do you just kind of consistently like we need to grow and just go from there?
Yeah. I think it's kind of both. Like I have a number, monthly that I would like to be at because like as the business grows, like overhead grows a little bit too. The good thing about everything being online is that like it doesn't grow as much anymore. I'm at this interesting window of time, or to better say it, I'm at a ledge. That's how envision it in my business now, where I've kind of maxed out what most of my overhead costs are. So adding more clients to the business is more like just adding more overall cash flow that would come in, which is cool. And so I do have like a number of clients in mind that would be great where I'm able to level up everybody's pay in my business. I'm able to put more away for my future real estate investment goals that I have. I'm able to take care of my parents. I'm able to, even buy like the nice things that I want to have, which I'm not really big on any of that shit. Like I don't know what my dream car is because I drive a fucking Mazda 3. And even if I was making $100,000 a month, I would still drive that thing until it breaks. Like I don't care so much about that stuff. I just want to be like, I have certain metrics that I have in place. And then I kind of go back and forth between two different visions. One is like, Once I'm at this threshold, then everything will be taken care of. I don't need to make any more money than that. Any more money than that is like money I don't even know what I would do with at that point. So once I'm able to like comfortably, cover most costs for my parents, retire them, pay everyone on my team enough so that they could be full time with me. And then, have some extra cash for like going out on the weekend and taking my wife out and not looking at the bill, like never thinking about it. Like that's kind of where I would like to be. That's like the dream and like the vision for what I have for myself. And then the other part of it is that whole thing too about like I owe it to myself. If I have the ability to earn more, I must earn more. Even though I don't need it. It's not, I don't see it as like a gloat as a greed thing. I see it more as like a responsibility because like you can think about it this way too. Like there's only so much money in the world. And if I'm not making that money, which I know and believe that the way that I use the money that I make is really responsible and it benefits a lot of people, then that money would be given to that money would be spent in other places. Like the people who pay me for coaching, they don't have the money to go fuck around anymore. They don't have the money to go to Vancouver for a weekend, get a $400 a night hotel, buy a bunch of stupid booze, get fucked up, and ruin their lives. Or maybe invest into something else that they think is going to be really helpful, but actually ends up hurting them long term. So, like, it's my responsibility for those people to like pay me because I know that they're going to get what they want out of it. And I know that the money that comes into the business from the results that they get is going to be used responsibly. Like it's going to pay people who work really, really hard to do a really, really good job. It's going to give them more value and more purpose in their job and what they're doing and stuff. Like it's not, I'm not trying to earn so much that I'm like buying a bunch of dumb jewelry and shit like that. Like none of that shit excites me. I want to like build a real estate business. I want to like be able to have tenants or Airbnb guests come stay at a really cool, fun place, have an amazing experience that they can talk about for years. Like those are the things that go on in my mind, and that's like what drives me. And that's what pushes me because like genuinely greed doesn't. Making a bunch of money to have a bunch of money doesn't make me excited, but making a bunch of money so I can like deploy that money into things that are going to benefit other people and ultimately, yes, of course, benefit me too. Yeah, duh. Like that's of course like one of the major reasons. But again, back to the whole thing about like I'm not, scared to talk about what I like how much I make and stuff like that because it there's a real good benefit that comes to everybody. It comes full circle. It's not just Taylor's making a ton of money to be a greedy fuck. Like Taylor's making a ton of money to be a greedy fuck so that he can do a lot of good things with that money, including make his parents and his family's lives much easier. And then the other thing too is like, my dad's 60, my mom's like mid 50s. Um, my wife's mom is 64. She lost her dad, in 2018, 2019. And so it's like our parents are getting old too, and they're going to need more care and help. So like I need to make more so that they can be in a good spot when they're like 70, 80 and beyond. Like, you know, I don't want them to be in some shit housing that sucks or to be like bunking up in my second bedroom and uncomfortable and shit. Like I want to have like a nice property that's big and like where there's a coach house on the side where they can take care and do their own thing and the grandkids can run over to grandma's place that's like, a 3-minute walk on the other side of the property and they can go hang out there. Like that's why I want to do that shit. So
Yeah, that's gangster, dude. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I've got again, it's a very similar drive that way. I have always felt like that, that my parents took care of me a lot and are a lot of the reason why I'm still around because
mhm,
like I said, I was a fucking idiot growing up, so
mhm,
I know that you last time we talked, you were kind of like, no, I kind of had my head on my shoulders for a good amount, of my life, but I was an idiot. I was a bit of a retard growing up, and
yeah,
I owe a lot to my parents. It's funny the way that you talk about, oh, I owe it to myself. I owe it to myself. I always think of it like, dude, I owe it to all these people around me. Like, there's so many people that bet on me when there was no reason.
yeah,
There's literally no reason to, and people were still helping me out. So like, it's interesting to hear you talk about it. Um, because that's where I was kind of thinking at first. I'm like, were you always thinking that way of like, oh, I owe it to myself? Because I've never felt like that. I
Mhm.
always just was like, fuck me. Like I've always cut corners for myself.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that kind of got woke me up out of that was like, oh, I owe it to these people around me. Like these kind of
Mhm.
I like, I always sell myself short,
Yeah.
but these people always kind of believed in me, even though I was an idiot.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
kind of a driving thing for me a lot of when you talk about wanting to support your parents, that
Mhm.
it resonates a lot with me.
Cool, man. Yeah. Appreciate
It's
it.
it is a very noble thing. I think there is like this weird, and again, maybe it's because I've worked in sales for a few years, and there is like kind of like this weird uncomfortability about like really just being honest about like, no, I'm trying to make money. I'm
Yeah.
that's there's no, but there's it's funny because the more I've talked to my customers about things like that,
Mhm.
the less shame and the less guilt you feel about it. Because at the end of the day, like I like to build things. I
Yeah.
really do. I genuinely have always been one of those kids that was just like consistently trying to build things or take things apart. And so it is my natural proclivity, but I don't love to do it all the time for
Mhm.
everybody. Like at the end of the day, surprise, surprise, I do it to make money, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like a thing you have to try and hide or avoid talking about, I think. And
Yeah.
there's weird shame and guilt surrounding it, but it's like, yeah, I think again, there's nothing wrong with admitting it. How do you
Mhm.
find like because obviously you're somebody I feel like that you've utilized social media very well and you're good at it.
Thank
That's
you.
the other thing as well. I've seen a lot of people like myself. I'm shit at it. I've really tried to improve, and I've realized that there's this kind of like disdain that I have for it intrinsically, and it's a weird relationship I have with it, I guess
Okay.
is a good way to say it. But how important do you think it really is towards
Mm.
your business? Do you think that is the end all be all? Do you think that your business could survive without it? Do you think that you're healthier with it or without it? Like, how do you wrap your head around social media?
So for me in my business, social media is the lifeblood of my business. I have to post, in my mind, I have to post every single day. I think since I started my business February 2022, I think I've missed 5 days of posting, like where I didn't post, a piece of content. Um, and that's not including like stories, for example. So like I'll post on my stories daily unless I strategically am not for another reason. But I think since February 2022, there's probably been 5 days where I did not post a piece of content total. And so it is the lifeblood. I absolutely need to post every day. If I'm not posting, I don't exist. People don't know who I am if I'm not posting. Um, posting online for me, it shows it gives me like a level of authority and people will trust what I'm saying because I post like three different styles of content. One would be like value-based content, essentially something that if you implement this thing that I tell you to do right now, you're going to see measurable results for free. So if I can create content, my value-based content always starts with the question. I have to be able to answer the question, when somebody consumes this, are they going to gain something from this that they didn't know or that they would normally have to pay for to know and to get that experience? And if I can do that, then I achieve that goal of posting a good piece of content that's value based. There's also proof based content. So every day I make sure that I post on my stories in the morning about client wins, client successes, results that clients are getting in the program. Basically, proof of concept. Like I do what I say I do, and people will actually pay me and actually get results from paying me. And then connection based content. And the connection based content is just me being maybe more vulnerable or sharing a piece of my story a little bit more because people can get wrapped up, especially if they're just visiting my page for the first time and all they see is like me doing fitness stuff or my clients doing fitness stuff and like getting amazing results. They're like, is this guy just a robot? So it's important that I post things that are just real things about me or things that I've struggled with personally too. So I can connect with other people emotionally and be relatable. And so I mix in those three kind of styles of content on a daily basis. I make sure that I post twice a day, every day. Um, now, and I've been doing that for at least 6 months, maybe closer to a year. I'm not too sure. But if I don't post, like my business dies. That's how I see it. It's probably not necessarily true. I've built a couple things in place that'll help buffer in the event that like I lose my account or something like that. They're all very like elementary. So I've got like an email list. Um, People will, if sometimes I'll post a piece of content and I'm like, comment this or DM me this. And then that will trigger an automated, form to be sent out to them. And they know it's automatic because it gets delivered to their inbox right away. And it's not a personalized message. It's like, click here to get that thing that you asked for. They click it, they fill in their email. Then I email them the thing that they wanted. So there's a value exchange there. I get their email, they get the thing that they wanted. And then they get automatically entered into a nurture sequence in email where every 3 days I'll send them like a short 2 minute email that I made sure is something very value packed. So what I did is I essentially went through all my content over the last 2 years, found the best performing stuff that people really liked and found the most valuable. And then I took the transcripts of those videos of basically the words that I spoke, and then I turned the words that I spoke into a 2 minute read, really clean, really easy to read. So all you got to do is open up your email, and 2 minutes after looking at what I sent you, you learn something new that you can apply practically today in real life and get real results. And at the bottom of that email, there's a little button that'll take them to my website. And it's just a vertical scroll of people's results, how the program works, why I do what I do, my guarantee, which is like I will literally pay them to quit if they don't like it. Like that's what my guarantee is. So I'll give them their money back plus I'll pay them.
That's hilarious.
And then at the bottom they can like hit the buy now. Here's the price. Boom, hit the button and pay. And that's very, very new. And it's I've got like I think 250 to 300 people on that list. People open it. Nobody signed up yet. That's cool. But it's there. It's just like another source, another way that people can find me, another way that they can join if they want to. Um, but yeah, in terms of like dude, social media, the importance, it's the lifeblood. It also shows like a level of consistency too. Like if you're an online coach and the last time you posted was like a week ago, like, are you really in it? Are you doing it? Are you in the grind? If you're not posting every day, like, are you also showing up for yourself and like training and tracking your macros and doing all the things that I preach people to do or tell people to do? If somebody visits my page for the very first time, they should see like, damn, this guy is posting every single day. Like, I can rely on getting some valuable content or valuable info from this guy every day. I want to give them a reason to follow. So I have to post every day. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's a non-negotiable.
It is interesting, man. It's definitely one of those things where again, it's no one size fit all, but it is interesting to see there's the people on social media that have a big following, have a big presence. They have this, and I'm like, do I know that guy? And he's struggling in his business. And then there's
Yeah.
other people where it's like obviously working and it's obviously real. And it seems like there's like people that I look at where you're like kind of like, how did this guy blow up? And then there's other
Mhm.
people where you're like, oh, I understand. Like this guy's good at what he's doing.
Right.
And it is one of those things where again, I've always had this weird like disdain for it, and maybe that's part of the reason. I just also feel like it's not something I'm good at and not something I like or want to be good at. And there's this, I've always like, oh, I have to get this many followers and this many followers. And then I've also just seen, oh, it's not really like, maybe it's also the industry I'm in, but it's
Mhm.
like, this isn't actually benefiting my business. I actually benefit in business in other ways. Like I'm growing my
Mhm.
business in other, and again, it could just be the industry. It could be different, modes of marketing, and it's just
Yeah,
there's different ways to go about it, but I've just always, especially in the last couple of years, um she wants dinner right now. That's why my cat's jumping all
that's
over me.
hilarious. She looks just like my sister's cat.
She's super stubborn. I found her in the woods actually near 100 Mile House on a
Oh
hunting
shit.
trip.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, dude. But no, sorry. What I was gonna say is I felt like in the last few years that social media has become this weird ghost town. I think that people are I feel like a lot of it's fake and a lot of it's bots. A lot of it is just like it's half the time when I'm interacting with people, I'm like, is this a fucking real person? Like
Yeah.
it's so weird feeling. And I
Yeah.
think that there again, there is a realness to it where like I know a lot of people that run their business through social media and they run, six-figure businesses no problem.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's obviously working. Like it's
Hmm.
inarguable. But then there's the other side of it. I feel like there's that our generation is kind of like they put like it's the holy grail. Like there's
Yeah.
so much emphasis on it, and you're like, oh, this guy has 100,000 followers or a million followers or a million
Hmm.
subscribers, and you're like, yeah, well, I still wouldn't really want to trade lives with them or wouldn't want to do this or wouldn't want to do that. But yeah, it's a weird. I don't know if you've thought about those types of things before in terms of like, is this what I should be doing? It seems like it's working for you. So I'm not trying to knock you for it. It's
Oh
just
yeah, I don't feel that.
it's um it's a weird thing that I think that our generation and especially the next generation is going to have to kind of struggle with of like, should I be looking at a screen for 4 to 5 hours a day?
Hmm.
Is this really what I should be doing?
Yeah.
Or is there other ways to progress my business? Because again, I know people that have a business and they're more interested in growing their Instagram followers than their business.
Yeah.
They're like, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, like caught up in the views, caught up in the followers and stuff. Like I used to place heavy emphasis on getting more followers, and like it was like I really want to get 5,000 followers. Like once I'm at 5,000 followers, if I'm making this right now with 2,000, I have to be two and a half timesing my income if I have 5,000. And that's not the case. And then wanted to get to 10,000 because then you get the 10K on the followers that pops up on your bio and it looks really cool. And that was really fun. That was like a cool little like metric, ego metric that doesn't actually mean that you make more money or anything like that. In fact, I've actually found it's almost, I feel like it maybe is a bit of a deterrent because when you're a really small creator online, then it feels more intimate. And when people are chatting with you, it's like they trust that you're a real person, that you're like grinding away. You're just a little guy. And so they're more inclined to like want to work with that person because they feel more personalized and local and smaller and stuff like that. And I found that once I hit 10 and I'm at 13 now, nothing crazy, but like cool for me. Like I was like, yeah, like pretty pumped. And I am. I'm super excited. Just 13.1 just popped up a couple days ago. Like that's fun.
Fuck yeah.
Um, so like those things are really cool, but it doesn't necessarily make you mean you make more money. And it doesn't it does come automatically with a little bit of authority. Like when people see that profile, they're like, okay, like they've been doing this for a while. Like I have my wife just asked me last night how many posts I have 1,700 posts online. And so there's like, okay, there's a level of consistency, a level of like been in this for a while kind of thing. They might trust you more because they're like this guy is a little bit bigger and stuff like that, but then at the same time it's like is this guy really him, or is this a bot online? Like that has come up so much since like 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 followers. So many people are like, is this a bot? Are you a real person? And I have to like send them a video and I'm like, yes, it is me, Taylor, talking to you, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah, is I think that it's essential. I think it's important in any industry because it's just a fast way. It's free advertising for one, and you get hundreds or thousands of eyes on you right now. And that's where it starts. Like attention is the most valuable commodity that exists. It's not gold or money or anything. It's literally attention. And then everything else follows that. So I think you're doing yourself a disservice to not post regularly online. Things are going to look different between my proof and my value and your value. Um, but like if you do that daily, like someone's going to see it, they're going to think it's cool. They're either going to reach out directly or they're going to share it to somebody else. And anytime they do those little actions too, the algorithm knows that, of course, and will push your content more to the front of their page. So for the people who follow me now, but they don't know me or like me, or maybe they're just not simply in enough pain yet. Like they're not, they don't have an urgency to make the change. They want to lose 20 pounds, but it's just a want. It's not a need. But when I'm posting every single day and I, reply to their story every now and then, they see that I'm engaged, I genuinely care, I'm available and ready to help them when they're ready. And then all of a sudden they get broken up with, or then all of a sudden they go to a pool party and they're like, fuck, I don't want to take my shirt off. Or then
Right.
they're like sweating their ass off, or they trip on the stairs when they're chasing their kids or something like that. And they're like, shit, like I am now all of a sudden their pain has gone from 0 to 10 And now they need help right now. And they open up social media inevitably. And because I've been interacting and they've saved a couple videos or something like that, I pop up first thing because I'm posting every day. And now they're going to be ready. Like I can't even count the amount of times that I have like messaged people and I've gotten like one or two responses for them over the course of 6 months, and they're just ignoring, just straight ignoring me. And then all of a sudden being like, "Hey, like, how much is your program? I want to sign up." And I'm like, it's so fucking weird, but it's like that is where that's like why it's so important, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I get that. I get that a lot. I just it is an interesting thing, man. It's something I think a lot about because there's this like what was his name? Ah, fuck. I can't think of the guy's name now. It's killing me. But dude, there's this you know the Unabomber. There's a part of that in me, you
Mm.
know, of just like fuck all technology, fuck social media, fuck all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Same, dude.
And
Yeah.
there's like this other side of it where it's like, yeah, I obviously I've made money through it. So
Mm.
it's like, yeah, I've gotten contracts through it. I've gotten people refer, hey, can you do a flooring job for this person that just sold? And it's like, yeah, I can sub
Yeah.
it out or whatever it is. And there is an aspect to it, but there's this weird yeah, this like I'm just like averse to it. I hate and I
Yeah.
guess like I'm one of those guys that's like maybe it's because my dad's kind of like that as well, where it's like, I don't even fucking want to learn how to do this. I hate it. I
Yeah.
don't want to do it. Like, I could run a business without it. But
Yeah.
then there's the other side of it where it's like, I wouldn't mind a little bit more. So it's something again, I'm kind of like working with it because with the podcast content, I find like, I'm like, dude, I'll just throw clips. I have the same kind of mentality of like, I'm just going to post clips every single day.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how my podcast side runs. But with I'm struggling to get into doing more like construction content into that.
Yeah.
It kind of I've thought about different entries of how of like should I just start strapping a GoPro to myself while I'm working? Like
Mm.
those types of things. Like there's all these types of like, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? And it's there is constantly like I don't know if you feel the same way of like uh, should I be focusing more on this or should I focus more on like this other side of it? And again, it's kind of just like one of the things of running a business, I guess, that you're gonna have of like
Yeah.
knowing where to put your attention and energy and focus. It's a fun dance, man. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it can be you can get caught up in a lot of different ideas about what's best and where to go with things, but I think that social media is the biggest lever you can pull to get more attention, and attention is the number one thing you need. And um, yeah, so I think like can you run a business without it? Obviously, there's plenty of people who are. There's tons of people, but like can you make more? Can you get further along with social media? The answer is always yes. So, yeah, I think that it's important to do that.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I actually I appreciate that. I feel like it's definitely a different point of view than I normally think of. So I'll have to maybe think on that and sit on that and digest it a little bit. But dude, I got a little date night here planned, so I'm gonna let you go pretty soon here. I got a couple
Sounds good.
cats to feed. But
Yeah,
dude, I appreciate your time a lot, man. Thank you for sitting down and chatting with me during your. I know that, like you said, that 3 to 7 is your kind of like your free time. So I appreciate you spending that with me, man.
no worries, bro. Yeah, thanks so much for the invite. It was good to connect again. Good to chat again.
Likewise, man. I like I said, I'll let you go. If there's anything you want me to share, any links or anything like that, just make sure you just message it to me so I can throw it in the description or whatever. But other than that, man,
Yeah, I would say for anybody who's just wanting to make a couple changes in their like if you're uncomfortable with where you're at with your fitness or your health, you're not quite sure where to go with it yet, you maybe aren't ready to make a huge plunge and take the big leap at the very least, just get started with watching some of the content and implementing some of the things and see if it works for you, which it will if you do it. And you'll get fitter. And then when you're ready, then reach out and get some help. My Instagram is hard to spell properly. It's Hinton Nation underscore coaching. It's my last name, HintonAtion, just with one N. But probably the best way to find me is just looking at my name, Taylor Hinton, and they'll find me on Facebook, Instagram.
That's fire, man. And dude, I appreciate a lot of the things you talk about today because again, there's a lot of it's interesting talking to you because I think there's a lot of things that we're like spot on align with in
Yeah.
terms of like values and the way that we think. And then
Yeah.
there's other ways where I'm like, oh, it's interesting. I didn't see that coming. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it, dude. It's fire. And I think it's good to hear about again, I'm somebody that I will sit there and mine a vein until it's completely empty. And sometimes I need a reminder of like, hey, have you thought of this?
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah. It's
that's
always good.
yeah. I appreciate it,
Cool.
man. Well, thank you very much for your time. Much love and peace out, brother.
No worries. Take care, bro. Thanks
You
again.
as well. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye.
Bye bye.